Sadhguru's Teachings.
Sadhguru, I read in one of your question answer sessions that you were referring that even meditation is not the thing. Like, I mean, maybe it's a confusion to me. Like, Buddha didn't meditate much, though his followers did. It's just a state of ecstasy which people get into. Is it that? Like, of course, I meditate and get the feeling of bliss and ecstasy, and it remains throughout the day. Is that enough for a spiritual journey? I'm a bit confused.
It's enough incentive. It's only an incentive. Ecstasy is only an incentive. If it's painful, would you do it? So you feel blissful and ecstatic, that's only an incentive, that's not the goal. So Buddha was ecstatic? No, Buddha was never ecstatic. Did you ever see him dancing? He just sat like this. That's different. If I ask you to sit like that, would you sit? No. You need some incentive. So, just creating that sweetness in the system is an incentive. And above all, if you are feeling ecstatic within yourself, you become a better human being, isn't it? Aren't you? When you're very happy, aren't you a wonderful human being? Only when you're unhappy, you're a nasty human being, isn't it? Isn't it so? When you're happy, you're a wonderful human being, everybody is, isn't it? So keeping you ecstatic, a dose of ecstasy in the morning, the world is feeling better out. If everybody in Hyderabad started off in an ecstatic way in the morning, Hyderabad would be a wonderful place, isn't it? They start with tension, so it's something else has happened. So ecstasy is not the goal of meditation, it is just an incentive to keep you going, because otherwise you wouldn't go. So what is meditation? The purpose of… if we have to look at the purpose, if you sit in meditation, slowly it will become like this, your body is here, your mind is out there, what is you is somewhere else. Once these three things are happening separately, once there is a space between you and the body, between you and the mind, this is the end of suffering. Once the fear of suffering is taken away, only then you will keep your instinct of self-preservation down, otherwise you won't keep it down. As long as the fear of suffering is there, you will not keep the instinct of self-preservation down. The only reason why you are naturally not spiritual is because you have empowered your instinct of self-preservation too much. All the time it is trying to make you like a bubble in the world, separate bubble, not willing to mix with anything. So unless you keep your instinct of self-preservation down, you will not become spiritual in any way. You will not know life as one happening. You will always be an individual, trapped. Have you noticed even in your general life, when you're very happy, you keep your guards down? Isn't it so? When you're unhappy, fully shielded. When you're happy, little down, isn't it? When you're very happy, it's all down. Have you noticed this? So this is the reason why you're willing to be happy only among certain people. Because you don't know how to be just happy and still know where to stop life when it has to be stopped. You're willing to be happy only with 5 people in your life because you think that is the only safe atmosphere where you can be happy, because you have always understood happiness as a certain vulnerability. See, just say you walk on the street and you smile at anybody, they look like this. Why? What's their problem smiling back at you? What are they going to lose? They think if I smile, he may exploit me. How will he exploit you? If he comes to pick your pocket, you can stop him. If he smiles, even a pickpocket smiles at you, why can't you smile at him? What is the problem? Just try today and see, just go out and smile. People who look like this, they're surprised, somebody is making me vulnerable to life. They want to go on the street like rocks, they want to go home and become life. Doesn't work. After some time you become a rock there also. If you want to be life, you must practice it everywhere, isn't it? So, meditation gives you that space between you and your body, between you and your mind. Whatever suffering human beings have known, it has either entered them through the body or through the mind. Do you know any other kind of suffering? There are only two kinds of suffering, isn't it? Once you have a distance from these two things, this is the end of suffering. Once the fear of suffering is taken away, only then you are willing to venture into other dimensions of life. Otherwise, no matter what I tell you, you are only looking for safety. Rahul wants a boyfriend. It's legal. So, I think every child has boyfriends and girlfriends. Yes? When you were 3, 4, 5 years of age, didn't you have boyfriends and girlfriends? You had. Now you are giving it a new meaning to the simple friend. Well, a friend need not necessarily mean you have to get physical with them. Hello? This is something that you have picked up from certain societies where body is everything. See, why is it so that today it has become like… this was only in United States, but today it's everywhere. If you say a relationship, people think it's a body-based relationship. Well, don't I have a relationship with you right now? Don't you have a relationship with your parents, your friends, your teachers? You don't have a relationship? Hello? Yes. But you cannot say, if you say, I have a relationship with my teacher, they will think, oh, you are doing some hanky-panky with your teacher. Why have you become like this? See, the problem is just this, your intelligence has been hijacked by your hormones. If I say, you are my friend, that means I must mess with your body, is that a necessity? Hello? Can't we be? Okay, you're a girl if you're my friend, but I can't say you're my girlfriend because it'll be understood in a different way. Why this has happened is, we are giving too much significance to body-based relationships. You must understand, there are relationships deeper than the body. You can hold such profound relationships with people without your body being involved in it, isn't it so? Possible or no? Well, body-based relationship may be necessary with somebody, that is fine, that's your choice. But that is only possible in a limited way. But friendship and relationships are possible at various levels with enormous number of people, possible or no? You can hold intimate relationships with thousands of people. I have very intimate relationship. The way I am sitting here right now, I assume a certain intimacy with you. But if I use the word intimacy, people think two bodies should be rubbing. See, if two bodies are rubbing, only skin is touching, all right? Skin is the outermost cover of who you are, how can that be intimate? I don't consider that intimate. I can penetrate people, not just their minds and their emotion, their very innards, their very life process. I hold that kind of relationships with people, where my life energy reverberates with their life energy. That is intimate, that's really intimate. Body rubbing, okay, it's maybe a necessity at a certain stage of one's life, it's okay. We are not trying to make it right or wrong, it's one's choice. But don't make that the basis of friendship. Why can't you be friend with every girl and every boy around you? Hello? So, essentially you're asking, at what age should I go into sexually oriented relationships? Is that what you're asking? But I think you'll be doing a great service to yourself and to the world if you remove this boyfriend-girlfriend business and call it something else. Call them your what? Romance or your love affair or whatever, because friend, the word friend must be released from the body. It's very important. Otherwise, friendships won't happen. Everybody will be like this, because if I say you're my friend, she's afraid. Unnecessarily, isn't it? If I say she's my friend, she will fear, what is he up to? How is he my friend? Release the word friend from the body, it's very important. Let friendships happen all over. Well, body-based relationships happens with another individual, that's different, that's your choice. At what age? See, when you're in education, if you don't take charge of these instruments at this stage in your life, believe me, your own body, your own mind will trip you in so many ways right through your life. You won't ride them, they will ride you. That should not happen. At this stage in your life, let the focus fundamentally be on how to grow yourself to the best possible place within yourself. Don't be in a hurry to live. Living will happen a little later. If you live too early, you will not live too well. Don't try to live too early. I am not a moralistic person to tell you, do this, don't do this. If somebody has such a compulsive need, they can do it. But everybody need not make it a trend that if you're in college, you must have a sexually oriented relationship with somebody. There is no compulsion like that. There is no such rule that it must be so. One can grow. There is I've spoken this before, but I must tell you this. Among the mango farmers, there is a practice. Across India, this is well known. If you plant a mango sapling, within 12-14 months, flowering will happen when the season comes. A mango farmer meticulously removes every flower from the plant, because if you let it go, it will bear fruit. 1 or 2 fruits will come out of this little plant. Only those which are not allowed to fruit up to 3 to 4 years will become full-blown trees and bear lot of fruit. Those plants which bear fruit too early will never become full-fledged trees. So a mango farmer has this wisdom, he keeps on nipping off every flower. Similarly, human beings should not be in a rush to live. The important thing is, before you try to live, you are in a place high enough so that life will roll out well for you. You live too early, then it could become an uphill task all your life. And tomorrow, many turmoils are happening. See, if you go to Western universities, right now, I was just at Ross Business School just this week. I was at Ross Business School, then in Harvard Business School, and if you look there, I don't know what's the percentages, but people tell me, or if you just look around, you will see, most of the faces there are Indians, Chinese, and like this. Only about 40% are Caucasian race or American white, though they are the majority population there. Why this is happening is, these Indian families and Chinese families, their children have a certain support system and they have to live with their parents till they are 25 or so, till they finish their university. But generally the white families, by the time they're 18, they're out of their families, they're all living with their partners, they're going through emotional stuff, they have to make some money for that, and daily evening they have to take care of their partners, no time to go to the library, no time to study. All the toppers are Indians, Jewish community and Chinese. You just see across the universities in United States. So what does this mean? A whole lot of Americans are not even finishing university simply because they have a boyfriend and a girlfriend going, and it will not always go smooth, things will happen, daily turmoils, problems, Every day these things are happening. Now, you need to understand that this is a time of your life when you're at the highest level of energy. At this stage in your life, if you create a certain focus and balance within yourself, this energy will translate into something fantastic. But at this stage in your life, if you do not bring focus and balance and you earn it, let's say when you're 40, 45, you will not have the same energy. This is something that youth don't understand, that they think this level of energy will be there all your life. No, 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 it will pass. It is just a question of 8 to 12 to 15 years maximum. From the age of 14 to 30, there is a certain upsurge of energy. At this time, if you learn how to manage this, keep a balance and focus to your life, you bring a focus to your life, this life will function and play at a higher level of life. If you don't bring those things and you're in a hurry to live, then you will see it becomes an uphill task. Not that you won't make it at all, you may make it, but unnecessary struggles through life. So it's individual choice. If somebody has such a strong compulsion, they may go for it. Don't make it a trend that if you're in a college, you must have a body-based relationship, not necessary.
Sadhguru's Teachings.
This is a fantastic device to keep people enslaved forever. And to cover this, there's a whole lot of other stories which I don't want to enter. Phenomenal tools to control populations, which has been successfully done for a long time. It depends on how we shaped ourselves. If we become wonderful human beings, it's one thing. If we have become an ugly manifestation of humanity, definitely it's an original sin. It's a mistake. Sin is too strong a word, maybe it's a mistake. So too many mistakes are being made in the world, no question. You claim to appreciate or, well, you worship the one who is referred to as the creator, but you have a huge issue with the creation. If you do not appreciate the creation, why the hell should you worship the creator? Someone who made such a bad job of this, the only way you can even be born is through sin, I think he must be banished. Now, this is a fantastic device to keep people enslaved forever. If you do not even allow them to come to terms with their biology, they'll never come to terms with anything in their life. Always they will be dependent on an institution or a person or something who claims to have connections. An Italian mafia guy was once brought to the law court and he just walked in with this fat cigar in his hand and like this he came and sat down like he's a guest. Then the judge looked at his arrogance and asked, "Do you have a lawyer?" He blew the smoke out and said, "Well, I got friends in the jury." So, people who are supposed to have connections elsewhere, you will always be enslaved to them because you feel guilty about your biology. This whole thing goes into more grosser and grosser states. So except in certain cultures, everywhere else where dominant religious beliefs were spread, in all those cultures, unfortunately, they make you feel guilty of your very existence, because that way you will always be enslaved to whatever they have set up. Something so fundamental as the menstrual cycles in a woman, she has to feel guilty about it and she's impure. Her existence is impure. Unfortunately, I want you and all the teachers of the world to understand, if your mother did not have menstrual cycles, you wouldn't be born. even if she met your father. Yes. So the life-making material, unused, is what it is. And if that is impure, your very birth is impure, that's what they're anyway trying to tell you, that your birth is impure. And to cover this, there's a whole lot of other stories which I don't want to enter. Once you're not in terms with your own physical existence, you essentially will never ever be in terms with any other dimension of your life. This itself will cover you forever. This is a fantastic trick to keep you enslaved forever. No wonder institutions have lasted. Though they've lost their relevance, they stay simply because your existence, your very existence, you're guilty of. If you're guilty of your very existence, that means one or that which is the source of creation should be even more guilty. You are eternally guilty, and that which has created all this must be even more carrying the burden of guilt. Guilt and fear have been a phenomenal tools to control populations, which has been successfully done for a long time. It's time this is broken.
Swamiji, did you have ever opportunity to meet any Himalayan teachers? Any experience if you can share with us?
I don't go to Himalayas to meet anybody. At the same time, the mystical dimension of Himalayas preserved there in so many ways. Many. Probably no other place in the world. Every part of the world has places where certain people have left certain energies in certain situations around them, which will always be there. But I've traveled everywhere. There isn't another place which has seen as many mystics as Himalayas has witnessed. No other place on the planet. If you're sensitive to it, it's not just a mountain, it's something else. It's not your belief. I'm not talking about believing Himalayas are sacred or whatever. Many yogis and mystics choose never to speak, never to teach, but their longing to share is not any less. So, they will leave their work in a different form. There are many places like this, the Vellingiri mountains, very powerful. If you go up to the seventh hill, anybody been there? Seventh hill? You went to the seventh mountain? If you go there, a very powerful place, some yogis left that situation in such a way that the whole place vibrates so much. If you go there, you're a little sensitive, it'll shake you from the root of your spine. Like this, there are many places. If you're open to it, if you're sensitive and receptive to it, whatever these yogis were, all their life's work and their tradition is simply left there in a different form. You can always access it. In that sense, Himalayas is too rich, saturated. The surrounding areas of Kedar, Yukteswar and other places have witnessed so many beings. See, if you work with your body, if you use your muscle and work, the lifespan of your work is of a certain length. It dies after that. all the billions and billions of people who lived on this planet before you and me came here. Where is all their work? All they have left is their reproduction. Beyond that, nothing else is there. If you work with your body, the span of that work is only that much. If you work with your mind, then the span of that work is little more, it extends itself. But if you work with your life energies, that dimension is forever. Even if the planet goes away, that will not go. As you have an internet, there is a yogic net. If you are willing, you will see Gautama, the Buddha, is not 2,500 years ago, he's just today. As alive today as he was 2,500 years ago. Only thing is now, he doesn't have the burden of physical body. Physical body is a restriction. Whatever comes through a physical body, you will have likes and dislikes with it, isn't it? So, once free from the physical process, it becomes even more empowered and effective.
Sadhguru's Teachings.
Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudevji, Mr. Francis Gurry, Director General, World Intellectual Property Organization, Dr. Soumya Swaminathan, Chief Scientist, World Health Organization. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to this event to celebrate the 5th UN International Day of Yoga at this prestigious venue, the very first designed to be a platform to bring the world together in a spirit of cooperation and inclusion to address issues facing mankind. It was 100 years ago that the League of Nations was conceived, and these very premises were meant to hold. In 2014, the initiative of the Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi, himself a dedicated and long-standing practitioner of yoga, to have 21st June declared as an International Day of Yoga won the overwhelming endorsement of the international community. As the relevant UN General Assembly resolution notes, yoga provides a holistic approach to health and well-being, and that the wider dissemination of information about the benefits of practicing yoga would be beneficial for the health of the world population. Traditionally, we have celebrated International Yoga Day by practicing the asanas or physical postures contained in the common yoga protocol, which was developed by the Government of India in consultation with leading yoga experts and institutions in India. However, this year, we thought of broadening the approach to exploring the many other dimensions of yoga beyond the physical that are particularly relevant to the issues that the different stakeholders in International Geneva seek to address, those of global health and sustainable development, as well as peace and disarmament. Our engagement on these issues requires us all to work in a spirit of cooperation and compromise, making sure that no one is left behind. However, this spirit of inclusion at the international level cannot come about if it is not reflected in our individual lives and approaches. It is here that we can harness the power of yoga, the very essence of which is union both within and without. Hence the theme, Yoga, the Power of Inclusiveness. The Permanent Mission of India to the UN in Geneva is grateful that Sadhguru, India's leading yogi, mystic, and one of the 50 most influential persons in India, who has been conferred the country's second highest civilian award in 2017, consented to engage in this conversation on yoga. We could not have found two more distinguished personalities to engage with Sadhguru than Mr. Francis Gurry, who is not only the head of WIPO, but also an avid practitioner of yoga for over 3 decades. And Dr. Soumya Swaminathan, who brings her extensive global health perspective and expertise to the conversation as the chief scientist of the World Health Organization, where traditional knowledge and complementary medicine are seeing renewed focus. As an emergent India plays a greater role on the world stage, it is with a positive intent and determination to contribute to the betterment of mankind. Yoga is one such contribution by India for the better health and greater happiness of people all over the world. Yoga has now truly become the intellectual property of mankind. I wish to thank you all for coming here today to be part of the 2019 International Day of Yoga celebrations, and hope you enjoy the conversation on yoga, the power of inclusiveness. Thank you very much.
Yugartova Bhogaratova Sangaratova Sangavihina Yasya Brahmani Ramate Chittam Yasya Brahmani Ramate Chittam Nandati Nandati Nandateva Nandati Nandati Nandateva. Good evening to everyone. Well, I think the meaning has been put out there. The important thing is, people think yoga means I must be like a rubber band. Yoga does not demand any particular condition. Wherever you are, there is a next step in yoga. Whatever kind of person you are, whatever kind of mental, physical, emotional states you are, there is a next step from where you are. That's what yoga is about. The chant is just to acknowledge that. Thank you. Ma.
Thank you very much, Sadhguru. It's a great honor and privilege.
This is okay, microphone.
Thank you. I was wondering where the mic was and I thought there was some magic. Yeah.
You need a beard for that.
That's right. So it's indeed a great honor and privilege to be in conversation with you, Sadhguru. I would like to start with the theme of inclusiveness, since that's what the Yoga Day is about, and the theme, as our ambassador pointed out. The Prime Minister in his message also talked about all the benefits that can come from practicing yoga. You know, science has shown that all human beings are basically the same. We share 99.9% of our DNA. So if a genome, the genes that make up our body, the DNA, if it were a book, then every person's book would contain the same paragraphs and chapters arranged in the same order. And each book would tell the same story. But my book may contain a spelling, a slightly different spelling on page 130 of the word color from your book. Or my book might have a typing error on one page, just one letter misspelt. So that's what science tells us, but we see…
A misspelled word is enough to fight about. Is enough reason to fight.
Exactly. So if we spell color with O-U-R or color with O-R, it's a difference between the two sides of the Atlantic. But what we are seeing increasingly is the world being divided on the basis of ethnicity, of race, of religion, of color, of belief, of sexual orientation, disabilities. Some of this is conscious, some of this is not conscious. We see large number of people on the move now, refugees and migrants who have had to leave their homes and are living in camps for many months or years together. So when we talk about diversity, very often, organizationally we think only about gender diversity, ethnic diversity. But don't you think that the real diversity the world must tackle is the fragmentation of knowledge to solve the problems that we have today, and the fragmentation of ethical belief systems to guide our moral choices? We see inequalities and iniquities increasing. You mentioned that we live in a world today where for the first time there is enough for everybody, and yet there are large numbers of people who don't have the very basic needs. If inclusiveness is the very basis of spirituality, how can we enable communities, especially our young people, to grow up with a belief of inclusiveness and the fact that diversity is important and we have to respect everybody in the community and provide everybody equal opportunities? Can yoga show us the way?
We are inclusive not by choice. We are inclusive by the nature of our existence. Every day we are in this process, every moment of our life, by eating, drinking, breathing and many other things. We are showing that we are inclusive. If we resist this, we will cease to exist. It's only by constant transaction with just about anything and everything that we are existing here. The complexity of what makes this creation, we are a consequence of that. But the magnanimity of creation has given us an individual experience. It's a tremendous thing. Though we are just a speck in the universe, still we have an individual experience. We sit here and experience like we're individuals. This is a phenomenal magnanimity from creation. But we have taken this individual experience rather too seriously. So seriously that we think we are a world by ourselves, each person. When your personal universe does not work very well, you will gather 10 people and then there is a battle. Endlessly it's going on. When we are 2 people, we will quarrel. When we are 10 people, we will fight. When we are 1,000,000 people, we have a war. It's the same thing. The mechanics is the same thing. Because we have taken our individual experience of life rather too seriously. In this cosmic space, this solar system itself is a speck, a tiny speck. In that tiny speck, planet Earth is a micro speck. In that micro speck, Geneva is a super micro speck. In that, you're a big man. Fortunately, ladies don't like to be referred to as big, so it's only one part of the population. A man wants to be a big man. So, this whole thing has happened to us simply because the boundaries of your individuality, you have taken it too seriously. If you pay on the surface, you are you, I'm me, 100%. This is my body, that's your body. No way to mix this up. This is my mind, that's your mind. Here and there, our minds may overlap, but anyway, this is my mind, that's your mind. But there is no such thing as my life and your life. The life that we are, this is a living cosmos. You captured some, I captured some. Now, what yoga means is, the boundaries that we have drawn with the instrument of body and mind, you consciously obliterate, so that when you sit here, your experience of life is not contained just to the limitations of your body or your thinking process or your emotional process. Your ability to experience life as a life, not as a body. Because if you experience this life as a body, this is me, that is you, there is no way to mix this. If you go as a mind or a thought process, this is me, that is you, no way to mix it up. But if you go as a life, fundamental life process, there is no distinction between this and that, not just between two human beings, between everything and everything, there is no distinction. So the word yoga means union, that you consciously obliterated the boundaries of your individuality. That is why you know a sense of union. We are anyway in union with the existence. The problem is, it's not in our experience because we are too caught up with our individual experience. The basis of your individual experience is a very flimsy thing, in the sense, right now, if you… Can we experiment with you? Hello? Take your right hand and touch your left hand and see. Is that you? Hello? Is that you? Touch the chair on which you're sitting, is that you? No. How do you know this? How do you know this is me, this is not me? Sensation, isn't it? Here there is sensation, here there is no sensation. So the way you are identifying what is me and what is not me is just that where there is your sensation, it's me. Where there is no sensation, it's not you. Right now there's a glass of water here, is that you? No. If you drink it, does it become you? What is it that you did? All you did was, you included this into the boundaries of your sensation. Isn't that the way you have grown? Hello? Isn't that the way you have grown? What was not you yesterday, has it become you today? So, anything that is within the boundaries of your sensation is experienced as myself. What yoga means is, you stretch the boundaries of your sensations. As there is a physical body, there is a sensory body. If your sensory body expands, let us say your sensory body became as large as this hall, then you will experience all these people as a part of yourself. As you experience the 5 fingers as yourself, you will experience all these people as yourself. Even for a moment, if you experience all these people as a part of yourself, after that, do I have to teach you morals, ethics, be good to this person, don't kill this person, don't harm this person? Would you need teachings? I'm asking you. This is what yoga means. It is not a teaching, it is not a philosophy, it is not an ideology, it is a technology of obliterating the boundaries of your individuality, because your individual nature is your psychological pattern that you have created. Nothing else says you're individual. If you don't understand what I'm saying, keep your mouth closed, hold your nose for 2 minutes, you will know you're not an individual.
I think what you say makes a lot of sense. And yet, it's very intuitive the way you explain it, but it's not part of our educational system, it's not part of a thought process. More and more people are growing up in urban environments, far away from nature, far away from the experiences you need to feel one with the environment. And so we have to, I think, consciously promote this thought, and particularly I think for decision makers and policy makers, it's really important to have this philosophy. When they think about making a policy, what impact is it going to have? Not just on yourself or your neighbors, but on the wider community, on the water, on the land, on the forest, on the air. Unless we start thinking about each and every policy like that, I don't think we can appreciate really this oneness of being that you described.
See, if you take something as a value or a philosophy or an ideology, this will work when you and me sit on separate chairs like this, suppose there is little space, 5 of us have to sit on the same chair, that's when the trouble begins, okay? You got your big chair, I got my big chair, no problem. But if 3-4 of us have to sit on that chair, now trouble begins. Well, you can have philosophies, love everybody. Can you? I'm asking you genuinely, please tell me. You will love selectively, isn't it? Love thy neighbor. Can you love your nasty neighbor? You're not, okay? It is nice to say these things because it helps to cool you a little bit. But when life puts you to test, it won't last. You've seen it again and again. You said it is not the nature of our education, 100%, that's where the problem is. The real problem is in the way we are educating our generations of people. The question is not about what, it is the way we are doing it. Right now, our education system is 100% dependent upon human intellect. We are treating intellect as the only dimension of intelligence existing in this human being. If I ask you a simple question, you must answer this question because I'm going to bless you. Do you want your intellect sharp or blunt? Okay. Those of you who didn't say anything, blessed. So I'll give you one more chance. Sharp or blunt? Sharp, for sure. Intellect should be sharp. Why? Because it's a cutting instrument. It's like a knife, it's like a scalpel. The sharper it is, the better it is. A knife is a good cutting instrument. If you want to dissect something, you need a razor-sharp knife. It's good to have it. But now you want to sew your clothes, but you do it with your knife. You will be in tatters. That's all that's happening to the world. Tell me, who is messing up the world, educated people or uneducated people? Hello? Educated people, because this is the nature of their education. They think they can fix everything with their intellect. They are not even acknowledging other dimensions of intelligence which exist in your system. When I say other dimensions of intelligence, there are… in yoga, we look at human mind as 16 dimensions. Let's not go there, it's a long thing. Simply, to come very simply to this, if you eat… it's mango season, though I am in Geneva, I can talk mangoes, right? Okay. Suppose you eat a mango, whether you're a man, woman or a cow or a goat, it goes into you and becomes who you are, isn't it? Hello? Mango doesn't look like you, taste like you, feel like you, but it goes into you and becomes like you in you. If you're a woman, it becomes a woman, if you're a man, it becomes a man, if you're a cow, it becomes a cow, if you're a goat, it becomes a goat. Very smart mango, you think? Hello? No, there is an intelligence here. In this one, whatever comes here, it knows it has to be made into this. If I take a mango in my hand and make it into a human being, who would you think I am? Very creator, isn't it? So the very source of creation is functioning within you. The problem with us is, we have been taught all kinds of things. Somebody said those who are deprived of love in their life, that they could not love anybody around them or nobody around them loved them, they said God is love. Somebody who's fallen under desperate conditions, they said God is compassion. But if you don't assume anything, if you are looking at creation, because you can only see the creation, you have never seen the creator, all right? If you look at the creation, if you look at a flower, if you look at a leaf, if you look at a blade of grass, intelligence, 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 isn't it? Phenomenal intelligence, yes or no? But nobody said God is intelligence. If you had said this one thing, we would have much smarter world today. because creation is the highest level of intelligence you have seen. You're just one little product of that, isn't it so? Hello? With all your brains, you still not figured out one atom in its entirety. We know how to use it, we know how to break it, we know how to fuse it, but we don't know what it is. Because the basis of creation is a phenomenal intelligence, beyond anything that you can imagine. So if creation is such intelligence, the source of creation must be a fantastic dimension of intelligence. But we said all kinds of things to manage social situations. But if you really pay attention to your own system, the way it is working, is it working because of you? Hello? Can you operate your kidneys, I'm asking? Can you make your liver go better? No. It is not happening because of you, it's happening in spite of you. Yes or no? There's a tremendous intelligence here. How come you think you can never access that? How come you think you can only function from the little bit of memory that you have gathered in the name of education, and you can only use that little bit of memory? Let's understand that. Because in the next 5–10 years, artificial intelligence is going to come big time. People who read 10 books became scholars. People who read one book became religious. People who read 1,000 books suddenly became so many things. By memory, isn't it? We are misunderstanding memory to be intelligence. This is the biggest mistake humanity has made. Memory is like this, my memory is my memory, your memory is your memory, isn't it? Isn't this the boundary? Hello? Isn't this the boundary? That my memory is like this, your memory is like that. This is the boundary. We have misunderstood memory as intelligence. So we are all become small islands of our own. We are identified with our knowledge. Whatever knowledge you have, if you have read the libraries on this planet, still compared to this cosmos, you are a minuscule knowledge, yes or no? Hello? Because many of you are doctor, I'm asking. I'm not trying to insult you, but is it not minuscule compared to the nature of this cosmos, of what's happening here? If you identify with your knowledge, you become that minuscule. Now you have your own world, I have my own world, but our ignorance is boundless. If you identify with your ignorance, we are all together. This is what yoga means. We are always identified with our ignorance. Because our ignorance is limitless and our ignorance is seamless, our ignorance does not separate you and me. Because what I do not know, if you see I do not know, your intelligence is constantly alert. The moment you think I know, your intelligence sleeps. If you want to do an experiment, if I ask you to walk from there to there, you will walk, maybe being self-conscious, everybody's watching you. But if I turn off all the lights and make this pitch dark, if I ask you to walk from here to there, you become super alert, isn't it? Hello? Because the power of ignorance, you don't know where the next step is, suddenly everything in you is alert. This is the way you're supposed to live. But the moment you gather a certain amount of memory and identify with that, you sleep through your life. In India, the word that is used for enlightenment is always awakening. When you're already awake, how to awaken you? Because everybody is not awake to the same extent. You can become awake in various levels and dimensions. So the idea is to be fully awake because your wakefulness is your life. Hello? If you're asleep, would you know that you're alive? Your wakefulness is your life. How awake is how rich and inclusive your life is. Right now, the problem is just this, we are identified with our own little memory pools. So every one of us is a world by ourselves.
I would like to take the theme of technology and artificial intelligence you mentioned a little further. The previous industrial revolutions have liberated humankind from animal power, it has made mass production possible, and it has brought digital capabilities to billions of people. But the fourth industrial revolution, everyone believes is fundamentally different, because it is characterized by a range of new technologies that is able to cross the boundaries between the physical, the digital, and the biological worlds. And this impacts, therefore, all disciplines. It impacts our day-to-day life, it impacts economies, industries, and it has even started challenging us about what it means to be human. We have these mega computers that are able to beat humans at different tasks. So the resulting shifts and disruptions mean that we live in a time of great promise, but also great peril. The world has the potential to connect billions of more people to digital networks. We can dramatically improve the efficiency of organizations and even manage assets, our natural assets, in a way perhaps that we can minimize environmental damage or even try to repair some of the damage that we have done. But if organizations are unable to adapt, if governments fail to regulate new technologies and to capture them for their benefits, if shifting power creates new security concerns, then inequalities may grow and societies get further fragmented. And perhaps what we could perhaps call a digital divide might then start, one more divide that might start dividing societies. In fact, the WHO has been looking very seriously at this issue, and we're looking into not just the new technologies and the public health benefits, but what the potential risks could be, especially what are the ethical, social, moral, legal implications of new technologies like artificial intelligence, gene editing, gene-drive mosquitoes, and so on. So really the central question is, how can technologies enable a meaningful future for humankind? And what role should humans play in an increasingly machine-dominated world? How can values and ethics become part of the technological development process?
You know, I remember this situation probably in 70s, when in the Mumbai docks, which is called as a Mazagon dock, they installed the first gantry, and all the labor, the coolies who were there went on strike protesting. It was a major strike, because till then, the vessels which came were unloaded by men carrying sacks out. Those days, most of the vessels were of a capacity of 25 to 30,000 tons were the largest vessels. Today, most vessels are over 100,000 and even 250,000 tons kind of vessels. So they were taking anywhere between 26 to 28 days to unload one ship. And they went on strike because what are we supposed to do? What do we do with our muscle? That's a question. So man's muscle became irrelevant because the machine came. To all the ladies, I want you to understand, all of you are here today, not because there's been a serious evolution in human consciousness, simply because of technology, that man's muscle does not determine how big or small you are. If muscle determined who should rule this place, still situations would be still the same. So from muscle to machine we shifted. Now again a time is coming, people who have a certain amount of memory, which they call as education, scholarship or religiosity or whatever, they're all feeling threatened. The strange thing is, they're inviting me to all kinds of artificial intelligence conferences. Say, why are you inviting me? I'm not artificial. They're saying, no, but if this comes, what will happen? We'll lose our jobs. I said, that's fantastic. If all of you lose your jobs, it's fantastic. Because even when I went to school, I just thought, somebody just read a book a few years ahead of me. How come they're acting so superior? They just read a book ahead of me, a few years ahead, that's all. If I had come 15, 20 years ahead, I would have also read the damn book. So just by holding some memory in your mind, we've been acting big, just like muscular people were acting big at one time. They were the kings. If you had big muscles, you became a king at one time. Today, we will put you out there at the gate. So the same thing will happen now in a different way. Your memory will be of no value. It's a great time because today my phone has 600 GB memory, it can do 10 PhDs a day. It has enough knowledge to do its own thing. So these days are coming, this is fantastic. Why do we fear technology? Namaskaram, Abhinav. The best thing about sport is you cannot do it without absolute involvement. The essence of life is in our involvement. So sport demands involvement. You can you can go to school or college without involvement, you can go to your office without involvement, you can even get married without involvement, but you cannot do sport without involvement because sport just doesn't work without involvement. Nothing will happen the way you want it. So when you kick a ball or hit a ball or shoot a bullet, you know, without absolute involvement, it will not go where you want it to go. What you can cover up in society by blaming something else for whatever doesn't happen. In sport, it's very stark, it stands up in your face that you're responsible for what you're doing, otherwise it doesn't work. So this is the best aspect of sport. Should this come into our life? Absolutely. How to make sport a part of this nation? Yes, we are working on it in the rural scape. We want the help of all the sports persons, senior sports persons who passed their professional sporting life to participate in this, to bring sport into rural India because that is where 70% of the country's population is. We are conducting what is called as Gramotsavam, where thousands of villages are participating in the sporting activity. We need to bring this to the entire country. Without making rural India involved in sport, India cannot become a great sporting nation. Dhyanalinga is unique because it has all the 7 dimensions established at their highest peak. In a way, if you look at Dhyanalinga, what it means is, it is like a living person sitting there who has his energies at his peak. If you push it anything beyond that, it will lose its form. To retain a form, you need to understand, if your energies lose your vibrance, lose its vibrance, then you can't hold on to the body, you will leave the body. That is called old age. What is happening with old age is, your energies are losing their vibrance. Even if the body is reasonably fit, physiological body is reasonably fit, you will see very few people dying of old age these days. Everybody breaks some part of the body and they die. Otherwise, if you have you seen anybody dying of pure old age? Everything is okay, but slowly they just recede. Because the energy has lost its vibrance, it cannot hold on to the body anymore. Similarly, if energy reaches the highest peak of vibrance, then also it cannot hold on to the body. To hold a form, your energy should be within a certain range of vibrancy. If it goes below that, it cannot hold. If it goes above that, it cannot hold. So if you push it anything beyond that, it can't hold a form. So to hold a form, what is the peak? All the 7 chakras are at its peak. Within the ability to hold the form, and now it's almost like a live person sitting there, the highest kind of being. The idea of creating the lingam is so that everybody has the privilege of being in the intimacy of a guru to do their sadhana. Very few people get this opportunity that they can do their sadhana in the intimacy of a guru. If you do your sadhana without the necessary grace, what can be done in a moment takes many lifetimes. So, Dhyanalinga offers just that possibility that people can do their sadhana with the intimacy of being with a live guru. At the same time, you don't have to, without instructions, without any physical entanglements, one can just be in the presence of a guru.